Damon, it really is just one Big 12 battle after another.
Welcome on into the AZ Wildcats podcast, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by our friends over at Circle K, as the Arizona Wildcats, #1 team in the land, takes on West Virginia in just 30 minutes here. Damon, Fairall, Kevin Thomas, the AZ Wildcats pregame show, and we are live from HQ3 here at PHNX Studios in downtown Phoenix. Can't wait to get into this one. How we doing, Kevin? How we feeling? Great Big 12 slate today, beyond just Arizona basketball as well.
Great national slate today. As we were talking about pre-show, it's a especially good Big 12 slate. A lot of elite teams in action today, Damon. I'm excited for Arizona's game, but I'm also excited for that Houston-Texas Tech matchup. AJ Dybantsa versus Utah today, as BYU looks to defend home court just like Arizona is ahead of this Monday matchup. So a lot of fun stuff going on today, Damon. Before we get into that Arizona matchup, like I said, you have number 6 Houston versus number 12 Texas Tech coming up here at 2 p.m. with Arizona's tip-off. Pardon me. And then you have number 9 Iowa State, Oklahoma State, UCF Colorado, Utah BYU, TCU Baylor, Kansas State. And honestly, I know I say this half in jest, but like, if Arizona State takes another loss tonight versus Cincinnati at home, I believe, man, tough scenes for the Sun Devils. So a lot on the line today in the Big 12. I'm excited for all these games, Damon. It's going to be a good day on Saturday today. Oh, UFC is back tonight with a massive card. First card on Paramount Plus. Man, life really is good. Celebrating a friend's birthday tonight. Yeah, life is good today. W Saturday, as Roberto the coffee guy says. Yeah, I feel good.
Pumped up about it. As you mentioned, ASU, big game tonight. Cincinnati favored, I believe, on the road against the Sun Devils as well.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, going to be an interesting day as far as the Big 12 of domino effect that it has on the rest of the conference, but we're more concerned about what's going on in Tucson with the Wildcats, and we got a team in the form of West Virginia coming into town for this one, Kevin. West Virginia is a team that does what they do pretty well, and you know but they are not without flaws. They're kind of similar to Cincinnati, I think, in that regard, where it's like what they're good at, they're really good at, and they're like, even when you want to say like their pace isn't necessarily like a quote unquote good thing, but I feel like when you play that slow of a pace, and West Virginia is one of the 10 slowest paced teams in the country, it leads to, I think, just, getting your opponent in sort of a box with how that they're trying to play basketball. And I think West Virginia is really good at trying to play their game particularly.
Yeah, 100%. And as I definitely wanted to talk to you about on today's show. Pardon me, I'm just really choked up by all these great games today. I don't know what the hell's going on. But as I wanted to talk to you about specifically.
Professional podcast.
Oh, it's extremely professional. I might as well be wearing a suit, and you might as well be wearing a full tuxedo. How professional this podcast is. But how does West Virginia's pace affect Arizona's style of play in this game? And I think that, ironically, I feel like most times with a Tommy Lloyd team, I feel like slowing it down is almost a recipe for beating a Tommy Lloyd team because they're so predicated on the fast break and transition. But man, this year's team is different. They can get it done in a wide variety of ways. I almost think West Virginia attempting to slow it down benefits Arizona in this one because there's not going to be enough possessions, in my opinion, for West Virginia to get this one done. I think slowing Arizona down I have to double check the stats and stuff on this, but I would feel like they're more efficient when slowed down. I know the half-court offense has not been incredible. Tyler Warden has done good work covering that. But I think against West Virginia, the size advantage they're going to have, the skill advantage they're going to have, I back Arizona to actually play better with this slow pace than West Virginia. If you think West Virginia's defense is good, you got another thing coming when you see Arizona's defense. So I think slowing it down against Arizona, ironically not maybe the recipe to get it done, at least for West Virginia. There's maybe some other teams that are skilled enough in the half court on defense and offense to maybe get it done if you slow Arizona down. But West Virginia, I don't think has the horsepower to get it done if they slow it down.
I think in a slow it down game like that, where you're playing at such a slow pace, extra possessions are so important, so crucial. And how do you get extra possessions? You rebound better than your opponent. And Arizona is just going to, frankly, dominate on the boards, in my opinion, in this game, because West Virginia is a pretty damn small team. They don't have the size to combat what Arizona is going to put on the floor tonight. So I expect the rebounding battle in particular to kind of be the reason that this game looks the way that it does, and I expect it to be a pretty easy win for the Wildcats. We'll get into some score predictions here later on in the show, but do you think the rebounding battle or I guess not really a battle, probably hopefully a lack thereof, will be incredibly impactful on this game as much as I do, Kevin?
Yeah, 100%, Damon. I really do, because we're going to get to that with my keys of the game, but I think one way Arizona has to play in order to dominate this game is utilize that size advantage, right? Someone in the chat, I think it was our friend, our flighted bird, Real Pigeon, that said yesterday in the chat, it's not about the size of the team. It's about the way the team uses their size, right? I think that a great philosopher once said something similar along those lines. But it really is that way, right? West Virginia might not have the biggest team in the country, but if Arizona does not rebound the way in which we know that they can, West Virginia can sneakily get it done, right? If Arizona does not play their best game. So it really is incumbent upon Arizona to come in here and utilize that size to dominate the boards and dominate points in the paint, take West Virginia's Obioha out of this game. And Damon, do we have Geraldo Perdomo news? What is going on?
We have Geraldo Perdomo news.
Who is that?
That is Geraldo Perdomo's younger brother who just signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Isn't that lit? Are we doing an emergency pod?
Isn't that lit? That's what we're doing right now. This is the PHNX D-Backs Emergency Podcast. Geraldo Perdomo, welcome to the Valley. Welcome to the desert. I have now found my second favorite player.
Wow, this is unbelievable.
Winner.
It's a big moment when the mayor of PHNX is in the chat, Derek Montilla, for a Wildcats pregame show? Wildcats pregame show? I know what you are, Derek. I saw you wearing a specific jersey yesterday. I saw it.
He also wore a U of A jersey.
No, that's what I was referencing. I just didn't want to put. I got him a Steve Kerr jersey and everything. It was beautiful. But yeah. back to the game. But I do want to learn more about Geraldo Perdomo maybe after this during the game, Damon. I'm sure you'll.
I love the name.
It's incredible. Geraldo and Geraldo.
It's just Jerry with like a mustache.
Yeri. It's Yeri.
Yeah.
Yeri. Arizona is going to have to utilize their size in this matchup, Damon. And like you said, right, rebounding is one of the ways to do that. Another way to do that is turning your opponent over. One thing West Virginia is good at, and I'm getting this from assistant coach Evan Manning, who gave a statement to, I'm forgetting who wrote the article, but I think it was Tucson.com. Don't quote me on that. But there's a preview article out there that can be found. I'm not originating this quote, but Evan Manning told the local reporter pretty much like one thing West Virginia is really, really elite at, and they know that the part of their defensive identity is forcing you baseline and then taking away the corner, so you have to throw it back out to the top of the key, and then they jump into the lanes and force turnovers. They are really solid in that area of defense. And so I think Arizona is going to have to do a better job of those baseline cuts that Arizona is so good at getting. They might not be there, right? So the mid-range game is going to have to be there for Koa Peat, for Jaden Bradley, Brayden Burries. And I think that Arizona is going to, like we've been talking about, have to limit turnovers in this one so that you're not giving West Virginia extra possessions in a game where they're going to be limited, right?
Yeah, I certainly think so. I agree with that completely. I mean, I think that that's just really what we're going to keep hampering on is in this pregame show, is that they play at such a slow pace that it makes every possession almost matter that much more.
Yeah.
And it makes those extra possessions that you get from a guy like Tobe Awaka, from Koa Peat, from Motiejus Krivas, where they're crashing the offensive glass, that much more impactful as well. And so I think that you're right. Like, I think conventionally, like a slow pace, like a Houston-style team is kind of the way you go about beating Arizona. Because how did Houston beat Arizona last year? And this is without Arizona having the size that they have this year, but they still were a really good rebounding team in particular last year. But Houston beat Arizona by, slowing it down, making it a possession for possession game, and elite shot making. And I think that, if a West Virginia team shows up from a shooting standpoint tonight, you could see this game get pretty tight. I don't necessarily expect that, especially with the road travel, across the country and Arizona being at home. I think that this game is tailor-made for a Wildcats W. But that being said, I do think that there is an avenue in which West Virginia could make things interesting in this game, and they're a good enough team to do so.
They definitely are, Damon, and you kind of referenced something, another one of my keys to the game, so let's just get that out the way right now. My keys to the game in this one, because the sage, wise wisdom of Damon Dog, he already knows. We're on the same page. The first key, which you just referenced, you want to run West Virginia off the three-point line, because they do have players that can snipe it when they get hot. Treysen Eaglestaff, Honor Huff. I mean, these are players that have made 5 to 6 threes in a game already this year, and they might be up and down from a percentage standpoint, and specifically in Honor Huff's case, but you do not want to be the team that got Honor Huff right and back on the right track. You want to maybe put that off till next game. You know what I mean? You don't want to be the team that is the first Big 12 team to let Treysen Eaglestaff go for 50 like he did in the damn Summit League, right? So you have to run these players off the three-point line because, like we said earlier, you do have a size advantage. And what is maybe Motiejus Krivas' best trait as a basketball player? And I don't mean this disrespectfully. It's his size. And why is that? Because he affects almost every shot that enters the paint before he even contests. Because you already have to put it up over his 7'2" frame, and then he raises that arm, and it's even taller, and now you're adjusting your shot before Motiejus has even contested your shot. And I think that if you can run Treysen Eaglestaff off the three-point line, run Honor Huff as fast as he is off the three-point line, you have a much better chance of beating West Virginia in this game. Part of the reason West Virginia took off on ASU, besides ASU being a very bad team, poorly coached team as well, is the fact that they were able to hit open transition threes in this game against ASU. ASU jumped out to a lead against West Virginia, and they were looking very good. The announcers, our guy, Pete Souza, right, was on that game talking about, if you're Arizona State, this is exactly how you wanted to start the game, right? If they can continue this, they're going to get back on track in the Big 12. And then how did West Virginia overcome it? Consistent defense, making open shots in transition, and stealing possessions away from Arizona State. You cannot let that happen to you if you're Arizona. You have to run them off the three-point line and make sure they're taking tough twos. Key number 2, like we already talked about, so I don't want to rehash it too much, but you got to utilize size to dominate the glass and paint points and points in the paint. Because as Damon already spoke about, what is West Virginia going to be trying to do? Steal extra possessions. One way you can prevent that is by Tobe Awaka being the offensive rebounding force that he is, Motiejus Krivas being the defensive rebounding force that he can be. I would like to see maybe even Koa Peat take this game as a chance to get more aggressive with his rebounding, like he has claimed, like he is trying to do. Hell, I would even love to see Brayden Burries crash a little bit in this game. Why not? Point is, though, if you have a size advantage on your guy, I want you crashing the boards, because I think Arizona has a real chance to dominate the possession battle against a team that makes that their modus operandi. And then final key, Anthony Dell'Orso. I want 2+ made threes out of you, mate. Right? And I think that this is mostly because that is our guy. Delly, he's the journey he has taken at the University of Arizona from a trust, a fan's trust standpoint, has been huge, right? And I think coming into this year, the physical changes he made, the skills changes he made, really, I can only speak for me, I guess, but gave me a lot more faith in the player that he could be for this year's team. And I think he has taken strides on the defensive end. He has taken strides on the rebounding side of things. He has taken steps forward in the facilitation and the on-ball offensive side of things. But his three-point shot has waxed and waned like the moon a lot this year. You've had nights like TCU where he goes off, nights like UCLA where he's the player of the game, and then nights like where he puts up 0 points, right? And I think tonight you want him to feel momentum heading into the biggest game of your conference season yet against BYU on the road, right? We already know how the stereotypical cliche of road players, or not road players, but role players don't travel well. Their skills don't travel well on the road.
Yeah.
You want Delly to have some form of confidence, because I feel like even the announcers are starting to talk about, like, man, he just doesn't look nearly as confident in his shot, right? And I'm not going to go that far. I'm not there. I'm not him. I'm not a coach, right? But I will say this, though. You want him to have extra added confidence going into BYU and having a big bounce-back game against one of the lesser teams in the conference. You know what I mean? I shouldn't say lesser. They're above 500. But you get my point. A team below you in the conference, this is Delly's opportunity to get some momentum going.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think that this could be a big bounce back opportunity. And, we've talked about that in our last couple shows, hoping that Delly was going to, kind of find that form that he had in the first half of the season here. And you know what? It's ebbs and flows. He's a shooter. I think this kind of stuff happens, but we all trust that Delly's going to figure it out. And this would be a good game for that to happen. Any other player that you're looking for, maybe a particular type of performance similar to that, Dell'Orso 2+ 3-pointers number that you just gave us? Like, what do you want to see from like a Koa Peat tonight? Yeah. Stay out of foul trouble?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think foul trouble across the board. Stay out of that so that you can maybe sit down at the end of this game. Because if you're able to dominate West Virginia for long stretches, maybe you actually are done with 5 to 8 minutes left in this game, and Jaden Bradley can sit and Koa Peat can sit, because you got 2 games in 2.5, 3 days here coming up on Monday. Maybe the biggest game, like I said, of your conference season yet. You want as much rest as you can get. And it's the Big 12. I'm not trying to say that having your starters sit at the end of the game is going to be easy by any stretch, especially against a team with a above 500 record in the conference like West Virginia. But I do think Arizona is good enough to get there if they play their game. So staying out of foul trouble is a huge part of staying in lane and staying on track with the game plan. So yeah, I would say that for Koa Peat. When you asked me that question, though, I kind of thought about Dwayne Aristode. And because we're talking about role players that need to get some momentum going into deeper conference play as we enter near February, that gauntlet of a month that's coming up here.
For sure.
I feel like Dwayne Aristode has increased his defensive aptitude and increased his, I guess just level of play slightly, but more specifically on defense. I would love to see him be a little bit more aggressive maybe in his minutes in this game. Maybe try to take a couple open shots, see if he can knock those down. Really, I just want some of the players a little lower on the minutes chart to get some confidence going into BYU. I would love to maybe see a 3 from Dwayne Aristode in this game, or a block from Dwayne Aristode on the defensive end. Just some increased activity. But I don't I don't have too many individual expectations. I feel like Delly's the only player that's really been slumping recently to an extent. Bradley's been pretty consistent. Burries has, to his own credit, to his own standards, been pretty consistent with his input on the game. So yeah, mostly Delly, a little bit of Aristode, and staying out of foul trouble for the starters, I would say. Do you have anything on that front?
I don't know if I have like something I need to see, but I think I'm going to see a Tobe Awaka double-double tonight. I feel like he's going to dominate West Virginia. And I feel like that is what's going to kind of pull Arizona into a big-time win where you're feeling really good about, your 20-point lead that you have in the second half, because Tobe Awaka is just dominating the offensive glass, forcing teams or his opponent to foul him constantly. Like, I expect a big time Tobe Awaka game in this game.
That would be incredible. And I feel like this is a team that Tobe Awaka could definitely take advantage of on the glass and really make it his own. I think last game, let me double check this, but I think last game might have been Tobe Awaka's lowest rebounding performance of the season. I think he put up like 5 in Arizona's last game. He had 6 rebounds against Cincinnati, which was his lowest since ASU, and he only put up 5. But he's only put up 5 or 6 3 times this year. So yeah, I do think he'll bounce back and potentially have a double-digit performance in this one, like you said.
And as Andy says, Awaka 3.
Ooh. Honestly, I'll go one further. Give me a Krivas today. Give me a Motiejus Krivas in this game. Oh yeah.
And do this walking back down the court, Mo. That would be so sick.
Imagine Krivas actually hits that celly. Dude, I would need an image and photo of that bad. I would need a Ariana Frank photo of that instantly.
Yeah, that would go incredibly hard. Those are Kevin's keys to the game. I love it, Kevin. Let's get into our shots fired today, sponsored by our friends over at 3 Amigos Tequila, the Valley and Arizona's favorite tequila. We party hard with 3 Amigos Tequila. Kevin, I'm gonna put the feet up today. I'm gonna kick the feet up. Had a long night last night. I don't want to disrespect the 3 Amigos Tequila in a moment like this. I'm passing the baton to you. What do you got for us on a shots fired on this fine Saturday morning?
A little matinee shots fired with our friends over at 3 Amigos. There is no better time to drink than when the sun is up, because you can see your glass a little bit more clearly. I don't know, Damon. Like, you and I were talking about this pre-show. I don't got no beef with West Virginia. I don't got no beef with Ross Hodge. I don't got no beef with Honor Huff. I don't got no beef with... I was trying to do a little Dr. Seuss there at the end because I realized I had that same pacing, but I couldn't do a rhyme. I don't got beef with Treysen Eaglestaff either. Shots fired is at BYU today. It's at BYU today because y'all got to handle business just like we got to handle business.
Watch this show.
Yes, exactly. Tune in before your game to see what ass whooping you're about to get come Monday in Provo, because I know a lot of Arizona Wildcat fans are shook right now thinking about BYU on the road, and oh my God, Dybantsa can get his shot whenever he wants, and oh my God, Richie Saunders, and oh, Rob Wright is getting paid a ton of money to make a big shot, and he does. I don't give a damn. We are the number 1 team in the country, undefeated. You know who is defeated? BYU. They've been beat. You know who has yet to be beat? Knocking on wood? Arizona, right? We are playing better basketball than BYU, and until the clock hits 0 in that BYU game and, maybe Arizona loses, but who knows, right? I will not be picking against Arizona in that game because, damn it, BYU, you don't got the horses to run with our steeds in the stable, all right?
Stallions.
Thank you. So this shot's fired is at you, Kevin Young. It's at you, AJ Dybantsa. No disrespect, because y'all are hoopers and great coaches over there, but we got some scrapping to do on Monday. So for now, we are enemies, AJ and BYU. Shots fired. Shots 3 amigos.
Great shots fired by our friend Kevin Thomas. Brought to you by our friends at 3 Amigos Tequila. We appreciate our friends at 3 Amigos for always keeping us, ready to go, locked and loaded when it comes to the Valley's favorite tequila. Great shots fired.
I think Deborah wants us to turn back the wheels of time and recount our shots fired from when we played Florida.
It was Abian Lee.
Yeah, I think it was the backcourt.
I was Abian Lee, Boogie Fland. You guys couldn't lace up Jaden Bradley's shoes, as he gets ready for the game. You couldn't get his uniform laid out for him like Brian Brigger could. So yeah, I mean that just 2 guys who were touted as better than Jaden Bradley all offseason, who just absolutely got dog walked by Jaden Bradley in at that point, I guess the biggest moment of the entire college basketball season.
Yeah. No, yeah. What good memory by you, Damon. Good memory. But that is shots fired with our friends over at 3 Amigos. Shout out to all our friends at 3 Amigos. Make sure to go get your 3 Amigos Blanco at Circle K's near you. Damon, before we get to our score, let's get to our score predictions, Damon. I think we've covered all the bases on this pregame show prior to this. We got Maryland, Michigan State on the screen right now with 5.5 minutes left, so do with that information what you will. Score prediction for today, I should say. I got 85-65. Damon, you got 94-77. What's your logic, my friend?
I got a little bit more high scoring than you just because I think that it's going to be hard for West Virginia to stop Arizona, and I think that on the other end, someone's got to score for West Virginia. It's going to be, I think, somewhat of a blowout, but they'll get a decently high point total just because Arizona is going to be scoring so much that's just what it's going to lead to. So I got 94-77.
I have 85-65, and that, in my opinion, is because I really thought about going lower for West Virginia's point total. When they played Iowa State, when they played Houston, they were putting up tiny, tiny numbers. I'm talking about I think they put up 50. Again, let me double check this real quick. But West Virginia does not have a very strong offense, and it's been on full display when they play the Kingmakers in the Big 12. 59 points against Iowa State, 48 points. 48 points against Houston.
Wow.
Now, I'm not going to...
That's 2 slow-paced teams.
Yeah, I'm not going to go ahead and predict that for an Arizona team at home who we know wants to give the crowd a little bit of a show to get into it. So I do think that they get into the 60s, but I do not think that they get into the 70s. So give me 65-85. I think Arizona respects West Virginia's defense enough. I don't think they run it up on them in this one, but I do think that they're just going to be too big, too strong in the paint and put up 85 in this one.
Absolutely love it. You got 2 wins here from your 2 hosts on the AZ Wildcats pregame show. We're going to be live for postgame 10 minutes after that final buzzer sounds, so be right here on this very same channel. Turn the notifications on so you know when we're going live. And Kevin and I are going to bring you all the postgame coverage of Arizona versus West Virginia, like I said, right after that game ends. So follow me at Damon Dog. In the meantime, follow him at KevoPost. Follow us at PHNX_Wildcats on all socials, and we'll be back for postgame. Appreciate everybody for watching. Peace out. Bear down.
And go Cats, West Virginia, belt to ass.
We all silly like the mayor.